Trump taking office? Anybody that thinks this is so easy and all we got to do is get Trump elected, put him back in office, and all of our problems go away, you're nuts. I'm sorry, you're nuts. Why? Because there's 3 branches of government, is there not? So you got the executive branch, the Congress, and the Supreme Court, right? So Trump gets back in office in January or tomorrow, who knows? Let's just say it's between tomorrow and January, okay? November comes. Project 25, Agenda 25 is a version of what the next Trump administration is going to do to rid the country and humanity of the cabal. And it has to be done, and it will be done. Every single point that you see in Project 25, if you really care to read through them all, they're not all going to be, done in that way. I mean, it's not going to be, we can't do it the same old way. There's no way that it could be accomplished if we just keep doing things the same old way. Government has to be broke down. People have to be prosecuted. People have to be executed. People have to pay the price publicly for what's happened here. And the truth has to be told about all the lies that have been corrupting our minds for as long as they have. I think the truth has to come out about everything. But again, I'm not the guy that makes that call. I think things will be released in a slow manner at first, as people get used to the fact that they've been manipulated psychologically for a very long time. And as people start accepting the fact that they have been manipulated, for those of you out there saying, oh, well, by the way you're talking, Phil, this is going to take a long time. Not necessarily. No, I don't think that. I don't agree with that at all. In fact, the reason why I don't think that is because this has been happening for the last 4 years. And when those of you that say, oh, nothing's happening, why are we waiting so long? What the white hats are, they're leading us on and now, maybe after this live stream, you're starting to realize what exactly has been taking so long. This is a very complex war. It's a war like no one's ever seen. Humanity has never seen. You think of a war and you think of cannons and guns and airplanes and mortars and troops. And that's not what this is. If it was, if it were that kind of war, it would have started in 2020 and it would still be ongoing. It would have been like one of the world wars. How they just stretched on for years with no end in sight. But although that is happening, it's not happening in that same context. It's a different type of war. It's a shadow war. It's a psychological war. Can I be certain that my source, as well as Donald Trump, as well as the rest of the majority of the white hats that are in control, that are maneuvering and plotting out this very step that we're currently on and the conclusion, could I be sure that they don't take that buyout that I mentioned before? No. I can't be sure that somebody's not going to go to the dark side. There's no way for me to know that. I'm not them. All I can tell you is this. I trust them. I also know of Project Looking Glass. Brunson case. I'll talk about that, then it's going to be the end of the live. Somebody just mentioned the Brunson case. Nino had a guy on, Nino Rodriguez had a guy on Nino's Corner just this last week that said he has a source that told him the Supreme Court has already overturned the 2020 election. In fact, they did it a long time ago. But before they were going to announce it, the military came in and said, you were right to overturn it, but you can't announce that. Not in this current climate that we're in with COVID and the vaccines going out and this and all the, everything. There would have been a civil war. So the military stepped in and said, you are going to put a lid on that and we're going to take over from here. And the justices said, what could they say? They had to agree. I remember there was a video in July, I think, of 2021 of a very handsome individual with a Las Vegas Raiders football jersey on. It was black, had the number 17 on it, and he appeared to be sitting on a porch, and this very charming, intelligent individual told you exactly those words, that the Supreme Court had overturned the election. Then it's just a matter of time before it's announced. Yeah, that was me. I might have said it. I might have said it a long time ago. So, yeah. And now it's being re-reported, which appears to be a different source. And that is accurate information. The election of 2020 was already overturned. And there were many things that needed to happen before that piece of information came out. Because if only that information came out, let's say it came out 3 years ago in 2021, if only that information came out and the rest of the cabal wasn't dealt with, the Federal Reserve, the IRS, the Royals, the Rothschilds. By the way, that one family that has all the trillions of dollars more than the rest of the world's the Rothschild family. And by the way, they've been dying a lot, haven't they, lately? Interesting. Anyway, if all of that wasn't done to deal with all of the cabal's roots that they have rooted into our world, it doesn't matter if the election was overturned. It doesn't matter if election fraud was put in front of the Supreme Court. None of it matters. All of the cabal has to be uprooted forever. It's like a weed. You have weeds in your grass. You go cut off the top of the weed, or you just cut it with a grass cutter. What happens? The weed grows back. It's not going to go away if you keep cutting it. Yeah, let's cut them down again, cut them down again, cut them down again. They just keep growing. You have to either pull it out by the root and leave no root remaining, or put some kind of poison on it. And that's what, metaphorically, we've been doing to the cabal for the last 4 years. And that's why the decision by the Supreme Court in the summer of 2021 was never made public. It will be made public. How will they make it public? I don't know. Thank you guys for tuning in. I am going to have a Q&A. I think it's going to be a Q&A. It could be another Intel drop. I think Saturday. Could be tomorrow. I don't know. Watch Telegram for the